My name is Matthew Scott, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the invention by German craftsman Peter Henlein, the watch. Today, we would define a good watch as one that's accurate, portable, and a fashion statement. In fact, many enthusiasts would describe them as extensions of ourselves. Similar to today, by 1600, two varieties of watches were well established in Western Europe: a piece of jewelry that told the time, and watches that were primarily a source of information. Conversely, the largest difference between modern watches and those envisioned by craftsmen of the 18th century is the way in which watches actually measure time. Watches today rely upon the resonance of a vibrating piezoelectric material such as quartz to keep accurate time. Prior to this, inventors relied heavily upon their ingenuity to create complex mechanically driven watches, relying upon incredibly precise gear trains. The pursuit of an accurate watch actually became the driving force for creating in itself several new inventions crucial to its own success. Watches work due to complex gear trains and the contributions of these three critical inventions: the mainspring, balance spring, and lever escapement. The mainspring is a spiral torsion spring made of a metal ribbon, which can be wound up to store energy. This invention is largely credited to German clockmaker Peter Henlein around 1511, despite some references citing mainsprings perhaps being used as early as 1400. The first mainsprings were made from materials much less sophisticated than modern materials, untempered and unhardened steels that had to be wound twice a day and were usually the first part of a watch to break. The second large contribution to watchmaking is the balance spring. There is some debate between who invented it, but most attribute it either to inventor Robert Hooke or Christian Huygens circa 1657. Prior to the balance spring, the only force that limited the oscillatory motion of the balance wheel was the wheel's own inertia. This caused the period of the wheel to be very sensitive to the force of the mainspring, causing erroneous errors in the accuracy of the measurement of time. The balance spring worked to create a much more consistent period, resulting in almost perfect isochronism and reducing errors from hours in time measurement per day to mere minutes. The lever escapement was invented in 1759 by English horologist Thomas Mudge and improved by Josiah Emery in 1785. The lever escapement was composed of three main parts: the lever, the pallets, and the escape wheel. The escape wheel applies force onto the pallet provided from the mainspring. However, the lever is locked from moving and therefore stops the rotation of the escape wheel. After the balance wheel rotates half of a period, it unlocks the lever, and the force from the escape wheel pushes the lever and in turn provides energy to the balance wheel, counteracting frictional losses in the system. This allowed the energy stored in the mainspring to be released slowly and in very short bursts. Also, since the contact between lever and balance wheel only occurred during the impulse, frictional losses were minimized greatly.
The three work together harmoniously to create the mechanical watch. First, force is applied to wind up the balance spring, creating the system's energy. This energy gets delivered through a gear system designed to dramatically increase the angular velocity of the final gear, allowing the mainspring to unwind very slowly and therefore last much longer, all the while transferring the required energy to the lever escapement. The energy then gets transferred to the lever escapement, which engages and disengages once per cycle. It serves a dual purpose of keeping the energy locked when not needed, as well as transferring the energy to the balance wheel. Each cycle provides one impulse on the top pallet seen here, and then the balance wheel gets locked by the bottom pallet, stopping the energy from escaping. The balance wheel and balance spring assembly rotate back and forth continuously, and are responsible for the timekeeping of the watch. Every period, it receives one impulse from the escapement system, replacing energy losses throughout the system. This impulse is responsible for the ticking noise commonly heard in watches. All that's left to do now is add on a second hand onto the fastest moving gear, a minute hand onto the second fastest gear, and finally an hour hand onto the slowest moving gear.
That's my presentation on the portable timepiece. Thank you for your attention, and thanks for watching.
Tick tock on the clock.